Hello and welcome back to our discussions and looking at the whole issue of the Olympics Mega-mosque. And I'm very grateful to those of you that came along recently to our debate that we held in Hyde Park, when I was debating with some Muslims who are in favour of that mosque, the whole issue of whether it should be built near the Olympics in West Ham, here in the East End of London. Today we're going to look at a new topic, and that's the issue of the funding of this mosque. It's going to be massive when it's complete. Newspapers talk about it costing £100 million or more. I've even seen figures of 300 million. Well, we don't know how much it's going to cost when it's complete. But the interesting thing is every single Muslim that I have spoken to about this mosque has no doubt whatsoever that it's going to be funded by the Saudis, by Saudi Arabia. They don't question it. They just automatically, it's only the Saudis, or at least the Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia, that have the sort of money required to build this mosque. And as you know, the Saudis have been putting their money right around the world in terms of building Islamic schools and mosques and so on. So the Muslims themselves have no doubt about it whatsoever. But to add to that, Tablighi Jamaat have a track record. Like on many things, Tablighi Jamaat have a track record. And their headquarters mosque, their current headquarters mosque, up in the Savile Town area of Dewsbury in Yorkshire, was built on Saudi money some 25 or so years ago. The Saudis channeled it via something called the Muslim World League, which is a Saudi body based in Saudi, and the money came via that particular channel to build that mosque. So already you can see there's close associations between Saudi Islam, which is known as a Wahhabist form of Islam, and Tablighi Jamaat, which is a Deobandi form of Islam. It's very interesting that perhaps the best known senior cleric in Saudi, a guy called Sheikh bin Baz, was very warm towards Tablighi Jamaat, and he spoke very warmly about them and recommended that Saudi Wahhabist Muslims should go out with Tablighi Jamaat supporters and work together and in the evangelism and proselytism that they do. So Saudi, Tablighi Jamaat work very closely together. Now, as I told you, recently we had an open debate about this mosque at Hyde Park, and I sit here now putting forward my arguments against this mosque on YouTube, and sit here freely to do so in Britain, in the United Kingdom, here in the year 2007. That is what we can do. And the reason we can do that is because this country has a strong Christian heritage. You see, the gospel of the freedom of Jesus Christ leads straight on to social and political freedoms. And this country has its political freedoms because it has its Christian heritage. Compare and contrast that with Saudi Arabia. Did you know that I couldn't walk down the high street of Riyadh or Jeddah, let alone Mecca or Medina? I couldn't walk down there holding a Bible in my hand or reading my Bible. I could walk down the street out here reading a Quran, here in Britain, but I can't walk down the high street in Riyadh or Jeddah reading my Bible. Do you know there's not one single church, synagogue, temple, gurdwara anywhere in Saudi Arabia because they won't allow them? And just to add insult to injury, did you know that women are not allowed to drive cars in Saudi Arabia? Wahhabi Islam is medieval, backwards form of Islam. And yet Saudis apparently want to put their money into this mosque here in the East End of London. That's what they want to do. Why? Because they want to promote their form of Islam. Let's be quite clear. We do not need that form of Islam anywhere here in Britain. And I'm quite clear we should be saying to the Saudis, to the British government and to everybody else, no thank you. Take your money and keep it in your own country. Don't bring it over here to build mosques in your image over here in Britain.